Today on this Film for Thought Friday, we will be looking at the film Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, starring Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, and John Hurt. So stay tuned and continue to listen here on the Scott 7 podcast. Everybody, today is February 21st, 2014. It is Friday. Obviously, today I am not playing the Rebecca Black song Friday. I thought I'd damage you guys once already. I shouldn't be doing it again. Welcome. Again, the film that I was able to watch, I actually watched a couple of films during the week. One of them was Playtime by Jacques Tati. And he was the one who did Monocle, which is the very first Film for Thought Friday that I did. And great movie, but a lot of the themes with modernization, technology, it was just the same type of themes that was in a Monocle, just a whole different setting. But it did star Monsieur Hulot, a character in this film. So I figured, why repeat myself when you can just listen to Monocle and kind of get the same idea from the Playtime. But again, it's another great movie. Again, I was laughing through that movie, so it was wonderful. But another film that I saw was this film called Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It was a movie that I was very interested in. I know it had a lot of nominations at the Academy Awards a couple years ago. This movie was released in 2011, so it's been a couple years. And, it looked very interesting. I've always been a big fan of Gary Oldman. I loved him in Sid and Nancy. I also liked him in Leon the Professional as the cop in there. I thought he was really great. And even seeing him like in Harry Potter and just some of these other like big or small films, he always does a great job. So when I saw this, I thought, this might be a very interesting film that I want to go see. And unfortunately, it took me 3 years to actually finally see it. But basically what the movie is about is it's basically about MI6, British Secret Service, how, apparently something happened and they believe that there is a mole within their society. And it's taken place during the Cold War, so obviously they think that there is some sort of spy, Russian preferably, a Russian mole that's within MI6. So they end up calling out George Smiley, who's played by Gary Oldman, who's kind of a semi-retired MI6 agent, and they called him out of retirement just to try to track down the mole. And it's a very good story. Like everything is just, it's one of those movies. Like I like to watch movies where after you watch it, you want to watch it again because you feel like after you've seen everything, it's like, ooh, let me go back and see what all I missed. Or a big reveal happens and you're just kind of left going, well, wait a minute, is it this, is it that? So you have to watch it again. I like films like that because it's like, ooh, it gives you an opportunity to watch a film again. It's not like, well, this is how we ended it. You can kind of think, well, was it this, was it that? I'm not sure what happened. And just with like the little cues, just like with the twitch of a fingers, the corners of the mouth twitching a little bit, you kind of get this thing like there's a lot of nonverbal cues that are happening that it's communicating so much throughout this movie, especially in a spy thriller like this. So it was really good. Loved it. And I recommend, if you have not seen Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I recommend you see it. I know you could probably rent it places. I know I was able to get it from my library. Actually, just kind of saw it was there. I'm like, well, let me grab this then. But one of the big themes that I've noticed throughout this film is, it talks about secrets and everyone trying to keep secrets and trying to uncover secrets. And sometimes, when you're keeping secrets or uncovering secrets, sometimes bad things can happen. I look at actually it was there's a character who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who's plays in the Sherlock series, the BBC Sherlock series. His character is Peter, and there's a scene where Peter is like trying to find files for Smiley to try to find this mole, because he can kind of get into like these areas. Well, it seems like some of these guys are trying to figure out like, oh, okay, maybe he's a double agent, or he's trying to uncover the double agent. So it's a very tense scene. And, after he gets kind of thrown into an interrogation room, gets interrogated, ends up leaving, and he leaves with the files and everything that he got, he goes back to Smiley, and Smiley talks to him a little bit about it, and Smiley goes, well, they probably think you are a suspect, so if there's anything that you have important to you, you need to make sure you're clean. And, there's a scene where he comes back, and he ends up basically a loved one. He has to send a loved one away, and right when the loved one goes away and the door shuts, you just see him breaking down and crying, because you can see this idea of secrets and keeping secrets and even trying to unravel secrets can have devastating consequences. Tom Hardy's character in this movie, he ends up kind of falling in love with this woman that he met when he was, being an undercover agent, and she ended up disappearing. So, he had a very emotional attachment and just trying to figure it out. And throughout the whole thing, he's like, well, if I do this, promise me that she'll come back. And you're just kind of like, man, how sometimes holding secrets can ruin people's lives. And even when you're uncovering up secrets, that can in a way ruin people's lives as well when you're trying to uncover the truth, because deceit is so ingrained into one's life that when you uncover it, it ends up becoming a mess. So, and it really made me think about the idea of deceit and the idea of everything that kind of happens. There's this idea where you never think that you can get caught. Obviously, young kids, when they get in trouble and they kind of tell a lie, they think they're not going to get caught. And obviously, when they do get caught, they get into trouble. But sometimes there's people who lie so much, and they're very good at telling lie on top of lie on top of lie, that their whole identity, their whole reason on why they're living is based on a lie. For an example, I knew somebody who basically was a compulsive liar, lied all the time, and actually it got to the point where they would have to lie to keep track of all the lies that they were telling. And in some way they could keep telling lies to the point where they were always in the right, where they never done anything wrong. And even when they were caught doing something wrong, they were so good at denying it and telling more lies to cover it up. I can remember one time when, I had a problem with compulsive lying when I was younger. And, a lot of that was stemming from a situation where I told the truth and got punished, like severely punished for telling the truth. And because of that, it almost seemed like it was, for a young age, it kind of put in my mind that, if I tell a lie, I'm not going to get into trouble. That was kind of my mindset, because when I did tell the truth, I'd get in trouble. And especially in times when I got in trouble, the punishment was probably a lot more severe than the actual crime that I've committed. If I accidentally turned off someone's alarm clock, I don't think I need to be, beaten or spanked, super hard, or like 50 times because I accidentally turned off an alarm clock, especially when you're like 4 or 5 years old. So growing up, I always had to tell lies because I felt like if I told the truth, again, if I told the truth, I always got into trouble. But if I lied and I was found out, sometimes if I lied and then I was caught in the lie, at least it seemed like the punishment was not as severe as if I would have came out and told the truth. And that was just kind of my mindset for a while. It finally got to the point where where my lying had got to the point where no one would believe me anymore. It's kind of like that story of the boy who cried wolf, where, the boy cried wolf, wolf, and everyone gets ready, tries to protect the city, close the gates, make sure all the family, wives and children are protected, and make sure all the sheep were actually protected too. And then the boy would laugh, thinking it was funny, like, ha, 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 there's no wolves. Well, then he keeps crying wolf again, and again, all the farmers would pack up their sheep, make sure they're protected so that the wolves won't take them away. Ha, 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 nothing. Well, after a couple times, everyone just stopped believing this kid. So then when the wolves actually were coming to eat the sheep, he's crying wolf, wolf, wolf. Everyone's like, yeah, right, yeah, right. And these wolves ended up getting to the sheep. Now, obviously, who's at fault? Well, obviously the boy, because he lied so much that now there was great damages. Once he did try to tell the truth, it was too late because no one believed him. So that was kind of the same boat I was in. And I remember just, got to the point where I needed to tell the truth because not only was I lying, my sister was lying too. So obviously when we had sibling rivalry going on, it was either like my word against her word and we're both kind of lying. Or so then eventually my parents knew that, caught me in a couple lies. So they kind of were like, you know what, Scott? We're not going to believe anything you say. So anytime when there's an argument, even if I was telling the truth and my sister was lying, they took her side because I had the reputation of being a liar. So finally, it just kind of came to the point where I was going to tell the truth no matter what. And even if they thought I was lying, and there would be times where I think there was one time when I didn't do something, I got in trouble for it, or I was asked, like, did I do it? And I said, yeah. So basically, in a way, I took the blame for something that I didn't do because at least it felt like, you're not going to believe me anyway, so I might as well just take the blame for whatever happened. Like I slapped my sister when she probably slapped herself and blamed it on me. So, it's those things where I had to get to that point. And eventually, the table started to turn. My parents were starting to know that I was more trustworthy. They could trust me with things. I was more of a truth teller, where they were starting to kind of see that my sister was becoming a liar. And even though we both were liars, it's just somehow I was able to turn the leaf faster than she was. And so, but that took years. It took a lot of years to get to the point where people actually thought I was trustworthy. I wasn't spilling people's secrets. If people says, hey, don't tell anybody, but I like so-and-so, and someone says that, then, you kind of have that reputation that, well, I can trust this person. And I think in a society today where, it's very hard to find trustworthy people. It's very hard to find people who actually are going to tell the truth in our world today. And I think a lot of the reasons why that is because I think everybody is just so used to the lying. Obviously, when something comes out in the news, let's just take a grand stage. If something came out where somebody had an affair, a politician had an affair, a big public figure, they're going to deny it. They're going to say, no, I did not. And then eventually they finally come clean and said, yes, I did. Well, what was the point of lying? And it has been, from everything that we've seen or witnessed on the news or when public figures get into trouble, they always start off by lying. So at the same time, anytime when someone does confront somebody, they're automatically going to think that you're guilty of the crime before innocent. Instead of being innocent until proven guilty, we kind of have the idea that you are guilty until proven innocent, which is obviously not how our judicial system works, but that's just kind of how our society is. So how do we break this idea of secrets? How do we break this concept of lying and deceit? Really it all starts with you. And ultimately, if you can control how much you're deceiving people, keeping secrets, lying, if you can just become more of a truthful person and an honest person and more of a trustworthy person, then I think other people will either A, see that and go, I want to be like that person, someone who is honorable, someone with integrity, and change their lifestyle, or you're going to have people who's going to take advantage of your kindness, of your good nature. But at the same time, I can't change anybody else. Only thing I can do is A, try to be a trustworthy person myself. Hopefully I can influence my family, my wife, my kids, whatever. I can influence them to do great things and to be honorable, trustworthy people. And hopefully, in a way, that little pebble that I start can send the shock waves through the water to be able to make a change in people's life. But I think, to try to do like a whole big nationwide or worldwide campaign to make sure people are trustworthy, I think the reality is that's not how it's going to work. So those are just kind of my thoughts. Again, if you have not seen the movie Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I suggest you watch it. And then hopefully next week I will have another film to present to you on this Film for Thought Friday. Just before I go real quick, just for those of you who might be in the Northeast Ohio area, who's kind of close to the Youngstown area, on February 28th, we will be having a Film for Thought movie night here at the church that I am the pastor at. We are going to be watching Life of Pi. That is at 7 o'clock. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen Life of Pi, I would recommend it. It is a very great movie. So if you want to be able to see it for free, feel free to come to the First Church of God in Cortland, Ohio. The address is 541 South High Street. And the movie will be on February 28th at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll watch the movie, and then afterwards there'll be a discussion with some coffee and some goodies for people to snack on while we're having a discussion about the movie. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would invite you to come. It'd be a great chance to see some of my listeners face to face. And yeah. So again, I hope you guys are having a good week, and I will hopefully be on air next week to present another Film for Thought, or maybe anything else that just kind of pops in my mind.